Hello everyone, welcome to this webinar. Today I'm going to talk about the social pressure that exists in South Korea in education. First, let's see what is social pressure. Does anyone have any idea or now that what social pressure is? Let me know in the chat, please. Okay, Daisy say something that is exerted by a group of people. Correct, Jennifer. Social pressure influence people's decision. That's correct. Exactly everything you mentioned is correct. Uh, Now let's look at the technical concept of social pressure. Let's see. Social pressure is the influence exerted by a social group to make a person change his or her attitudes, thoughts, or even values. It is also known as a peer pressure, which is a problem that can be considered a personality disorder. This is due to the fact that in a social group there is an interest in a certain behavior or attitude, where a set of ideas or promote is one of the main reasons for generate social pressure. Another scenario in which this concept is normally manifest is young people during their formative period, whether at school, high school, or university. Peer pressure among young people is very common. But let's take a look at that social pressure is like in education in South Korea, which I think is very demanding in this country. Let's see why. Typical Western students may spend 8 hours a day in school, but Korean students generally spend 14 hours a day. I think it's too many hours. But in addition to intensive schools and outside educational students called hangons, students spend many hours throughout their days to score well on the University Academic Profiles test, also known as Sunyon, the test Sunyon, to enter the top 3 universities in Korea. There are Seoul National University, Korea University, and Yonsei University. Most Korean students believe in the only way to succeed in life is to enter one of these 3 institutions. In addition, students assume that accepted into this institution is the only way to honor their family, which gives them a heavy burner. Um, okay. Okay, let me see what Jenny says. Yes, I heard about it that there is a lot of social pressure of students and they even commit suicide. Exactly, because of that social pressure, they also commit suicide. This we will see that later, okay? In Korea, there is the Sonyeon test. What is the Sonyeon test? The Sonyeon test plays a major role in the South Korea education system. Many students aim to enroll in one of the 3 most prestigious universities in the country. There are National University, Korea University, and Yonsei University, as I mentioned before. But these universities have very limited place so there is a high level of competition. That is why they attend academies or private institutes. Ca- You can see in this slide. Uh-huh. Okay, it's exactly this exam. It's very important, very important. It's so important that it affects the daily life of South Koreans because on that day the government forced companies to delay the start of the working day on that day to avoid traffic jam. The national police is also mobilized to monitor traffic. And local administration reforms both public transport and cab service for the students. We can see in the picture the police helping the students. In the second picture, we have students prepared for the exam. Okay. As far as air traffic is concerned, no planes are allowed to land or take off for the duration of the English listening comprehension test offered live by the educational radio station EBS. I don't know. I don't know if you knew all this about this test, which is considered very important in Korea. Let me know in the chat, okay? Write in the chat. Daisy say everything you just mentioned I did. Then I more or less about it. Okay, I see you knew a little about the rules of this test, or maybe you know the test. Okay, let's continue. Another important fact that I think will surprise you a lot is the preparation for the exam. The preparation for the exam, the time for this exam, is approximately 12 years, and the exam lasts approximately 8 hours of consecutive testing that determines whether or not the students will gain access to higher education. It's a long time we prepare the students, okay? This test, we can see that it is very demanding for South Korean students, that even some can stand the immense pressure that they decide to take their our life. According to Statistics Korea, according to the Statistics Korea, the leading cause of death among teenagers aged 10 until 19 is a suicide, uh, accounting for 30.9% of deaths in the population. Also, it is estimated that 90% of those who commit suicide have a diagnostically psychiatric illness. The social stigma of mental problems being a sign of weakness that prevents these adolescents from seeking for physical symptoms such as headache or fatigue rather than seeking treatment for mental health problems. Well, we see that in South Korea, the pressure is so great that the students are doing their best to gain access to the higher education. That even affects their health, the health for the students. So to wrap things up, today we were able to learn a little about Korea. In this case, the social pressure that exists in terms of education, and how this affects affects the students how to become so competitive to get into a good university in this country and be able to belong to society and be will seen be society. And on the other hand, also the case of students who can stand the pressure and decide to end their lives. Okay, so now I want to know if you have any question or maybe you want to contribute about that we saw today. Let me know in the chat in the chat and write in the chat please. Okay, let me know. Okay, Jennifer say, do you think that someday this test will be eliminated or change? Well, I don't think so because not giving this test can affect your jobs prospect, your income, where you will live, and even future relationships. And with this test, we are looking for the best people in the jobs and in the students, in the studies. Sorry. So I think it's difficult to eliminate or maybe change. Okay. Mm, Another question? No. Well, there are no more questions. That's all. That's all for today. I hope you have learned a little about South Korea. In this case, the pressure in the students in education. Okay. See you another time. See you. Bye bye.